All right, welcome to this episode of the GymInformer podcast. I'm Chris Gilbert, your host for this episode, and today our guests are Cara and Jason Nunn, the owners of Chiseled Life Gym in Columbia, Maryland. This is a pretty awesome gym. I'm excited to talk to them about it. But before we get started, let's take a short pause, and I'll show you the photos I took when I was at their gym. All right, guys, you guys started out as a clothing brand, right?
We did, yes, in 2013.
Okay, yeah. Cool. Can you walk us through a little bit of the evolution of how you went from being Chiseled Life clothing brand to now Chiseled Life Gym?
Initially, I was competing in the NPC, and while competing, we realized there were some vendors selling clothes, but we were looking to put out something kind of cool and quality stuff. And I was meeting so many awesome people, whether they were trainers or other competitors or spectators, and everyone was all about the fitness life. And it was just a really good community. And we took the opportunity with us being there, and she was always there supporting me. And we started the apparel company and the brand, and it built into a really awesome following and community. And we just grew into the gym game. We wanted to grow the brand and give back to the community, and it seemed like having a facility like this was the next best move.
But that was never really in the plans when we originally started. So we started the clothing obviously because we found, the common goal between everyone who's either competing or just has a goal in life in general. So that's where Chiseled kind of came from. But when we decided to launch Chiseled Apparel and Gym, that was obviously in 2018-19. But that was kind of from, we had a baby, and I am actually a medical esthetician, and the day I had Nico was the last day that I ever practiced. But in my background, that's actually kind of where Jason and I met, was a gym a long time ago that I started. I've started multiple gyms, but we kind of just fell into what's going to happen next. Like, what do we want to do? I knew that we both were pulled in this direction of fitness and like personal growth and health. So we were just like, we've been blessed with this great apparel company. So let's just now make it not just a community all over, but let's like hone in on our community. And so that's why we picked Columbia, Maryland, and we're both kind of natives from here. So that's where the gym the idea came up, and then we just kind of rolled with it.
That's awesome. Is the gym in its current size the size you guys started? Because it's not a small gym. And I've noticed like a lot of gyms don't start out the size that your gym is now. This
is the first ever Chiseled Life Gym. We've never had a gym anywhere else. Yeah.
Wow. So you guys are what? I'm guessing 20, 25,000 square feet, or?
We're right around 18,000 square feet. Okay.
The gym itself, but we do have the nutrition center, the lashes tanning, and then also his physical therapy practice, which is
that's a pretty decent sized gym to start out with right off the bat.
We need more space.
It's kind of crazy when we opened. We opened in 2019, so we're coming up on 5 years, and we almost took another bay next to us. Thank God we didn't, because when COVID hit, that extra piece of rent probably we might not have survived if it had been for that. But in hindsight, I would love to have that square footage now, because you can never have enough equipment, and there's always room to progress and grow. So
and I've been to the gym a couple of times, and I've actually spoken to people who've actually driven past other gyms and from out of the area just to come to your gym because they love it so much.
Oh,
so
that makes us feel good.
That's what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
And
but I will say when we started, this was like way too big. We were like, how are we going to fill this? How are we going to do everything? I mean, we obviously did, but it was definitely a huge undertaking.
Now it's like, how can I configure stuff to create space for more equipment?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can certainly understand that. And you guys have some really good equipment. If I remember correctly, you have a ton of Arsenal equipment.
We do have a lot of Arsenal.
what was the thought process and like deciding to go mostly with Arsenal and you have some, I think you have some Rogue stuff and some other pieces. Like, what was the thought process and the selecting equipment for the gym?
Well, I competed. I'm a personal trainer. I'm a physical therapist. One thing I do like a lot about, we have a lot of hammer strength in Arsenal. I'm a huge fan of the isolateral component for training, and especially for the rehab aspect. The Arsenal piece itself, one of my best friends he was being coached by Flex Lewis's coach, and the correlation with Arsenal and them. There was just we were exposed to a lot of the equipment. I liked a lot of it. In making a new equipment purchase at the time, it was also very convenient of getting a lot of the pieces we were looking for.
We also were able to like customize our colors. We were, we both trained with, multiple pieces that we have out here. So it fits our body well. It fits, I feel like, majority of the people well. And it's just an overall like solid piece of equipment.
It was very convenient in getting a lot of the equipment we needed in one bulk order. And I like how it's new equipment with a lot of old school feel to it. And if you feel our gym, we're a warehouse gym that is aesthetically pleasing. I mean, I got into bodybuilding. It is a lot about aesthetics. I do like the old school vibe. I think the best gyms I've ever gotten progress in were just sweat lockers with old rusty equipment. But we do have a lot of brands in here. Rogue, I liked a lot of their stuff from a durability aspect, all the racks, benches, just pieces that I was drawn to over the years.
And we wanted something that would last. So that was a key component too. Yeah.
Now you touched on the atmosphere a little bit there. I really like the atmosphere. It does have kind of that old school feel, but also you guys managed to merge that a little bit with a very clean, modern aesthetic. It's got some motivational aspects to it, but you didn't overdo it. And yet at the same time, you walk into the gym, you're like, as soon as you walk in, you're like, yep, this is badass, and I'm going to mess some shit up in here. When you walk into the gym, you're like, yep, something's going to hurt today.
Oh, that's a great compliment.
But it's also at the same time very clean. So I think it's inviting to anyone who, isn't necessarily used to the bodybuilding gym feel, but at the same time, it's enough badass that a bodybuilder can walk in and go, yep.
Some days the struggle is just getting yourself into the building. Whether you're busy or you're tired, you got other stuff going on. But once you're here, we want it to pick you up and give you that extra push. That's the benefit of being in a gym versus doing it on your own out of a garage gym or whatever, a self gym at the house. But definitely wanted to give you that extra push when you get in.
And we kind of knew that, like, I feel like we were before the TikTok time, but I think that when we were setting everything up, obviously, like, we wanted everything to be aesthetically pleasing and like go together. That's just my OCD. But, we do have bits and pieces of ourselves and our faith and like all of that kind of scattered throughout the gym where it's not overwhelming, but it's like, okay, this is who we are showcased in our gym. So that's, why we love the things and, what we've picked to put on our walls and things like that.
No, I thought it was really cool. And it's not overdone. Like, I've been to gyms that just have stuff on all the walls and it's almost overwhelming.
Yeah.
And nothing really stands out. And I've been to gyms that are just completely clean, black walls, nothing on the walls ever. And you're just like, I feel like something should be there.
Yeah.
So you guys did a pretty good job of like not overdoing it, but like having some stuff on there. But am I hearing that like the old school feel was on purpose?
Yes.
Yeah,
sure.
I definitely. The whole name Chiseled kind of came growing up with my dad. He was always into fitness and bodybuilding. A lot of members here will see him still in here working out.
Every morning.
Every morning he's here. But I grew up, he had been collecting weights in our house, some of which was like welded by friends, but
nice,
very old school stuff. The Arnold Encyclopedia of Bodybuilding was always sitting there. It got so much read. Pictures of Haney and Yates and Arnold on the walls. We'd watch Lee Haney's workouts on ESPN in the morning and then go do the workout together. And I'd always hear him say like, that guy's chiseled. And I'm like, what do you mean by that? And he's just like, he was a builder and a contractor. He's like, you don't get like that without consistent hard work. And it definitely doesn't stay there unless you do it. And it always just clicked to me. That's where we got the name and the feel and I wanted the old school vibe in here because that's just kind of what he introduced me to growing up.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I love how you brought it back and how everything kind of carries forward that way. You guys, the gym's organized really interestingly in that you kind of have a bodybuilder area and then you kind of have a powerlifting area. Do you have a lot of powerlifting clients? Did you set that up on purpose that way, or did that kind of evolve that way? Or
I would say it evolved. When we were definitely shooting to be a facility that was geared to all modes of training. And when we opened, it was a pleasant surprise we were fortunate enough to have a lot of not just power lifters, but we have some very experienced credentialed power lifters in here. And we realized we needed to take care of these guys. They're supporting us. We want to support them. So that area of the gym definitely has grown. But as far as the layout, I wanted a functional open area for our trainers to use. Whether you're just doing your own functional training or a CrossFit style training, CrossFit boxes can cost a lot of money, but that can kind of price people out sometimes. We wanted somewhere that they had all the tools they needed to do what they wanted to do and an area to do it. We have all the racks. It's torture when you go to a gym and there's not enough places to squat or bench or do what you want. So we have
you guys definitely have quite a few racks.
We got racks on racks. And that served us real well. Then we have the free weight area. And then we have plate load and pin area. And from a trainer perspective, when I laid it out, I really tried to be mindful of body parts, but also have your agonist or your on the other side or real close. So if you wanted to hit a superset, your opposing body part was like right there within close distance. So you could do that. And even the cardio equipment we wanted to, so if you were doing like a HIIT circuit, you had quick access to get somewhere. You had the space to do that.
And we had this huge open space to basically do whatever we wanted to. So I think it does lay out pretty well. But we also have like our functional fitness area. So we kind of started with him and I together collectively. We've been through almost every style of workout and ironically just not powerlifting. We never really got heavy into that. So when we met our powerlifting community in Columbia and realized that was a thing, we've tried to accommodate them, throughout by adding platforms and such. But we really have everything for everyone. And I think for us, it goes back to Chiseled the brand, and that's just building on whatever goal that you have. So we wanted just like a one-stop shop. So it didn't exclude anybody and it didn't just target one demographic.
And then the powerlifting competitions we do here to support our followers.
Okay, that's awesome. I hadn't seen that yet. I'll have to check that out.
We have about 8 to 10 a year. So we have about 300 people come in here, and we have multiple different federations that come through. We also have a police fundraiser that we do as well that we put on. So there's a lot going on, but we have a big space to do that in the Ronan area. So we love to do whatever we can in the community to bring people together. That's
awesome. Yeah. I noticed it's kind of set up from an organization standpoint. It's set up in some areas like a bodybuilding gym, but at the same time, it's set up like a fitness center because you have all of your stack or pin loaded equipment together. You got all your plate loaded equipment together, and you got your free weight area separate. So you kind of got a mix of like different styles, so it can be comfortable to different groups of people.
Yeah,
exactly. That's what we were shooting with or for there. We want to appeal to everyone. We don't want anybody to feel intimidated or unwelcomed here. And for the people that are newer on their fitness journey, we love getting people started and going and educating them. Like, we have all the tools here. We have the trainers with the knowledge. If they're ready to work and motivated, we want to help them get goals and results. And part of the layout with some of that is so that there was a less intimidating area. Because, we have very strong people in here moving some heavy weights, big guys. So that could be a little intimidating to some people as they first walk in.
Yeah.
No, I get it. Yeah. I remember when I first started back in the gym, I was like, just let me get the 135 so I can so I can like not look like and nobody pays attention to you in the gym. So
no one. That's like the
it's,
biggest like misconception in a gym.
yeah. And the biggest, scariest guy is the nicest person on the planet always. So
the ones most willing to take the moment to help you or teach you or
for every gym that I've been to, it's always that way. Now, you mentioned you'd love to have more space. What's next for Chiseled? Are you guys happy with where you are? Are you trying to expand? Is that an active thing you want to do, or?
We love Columbia. I mean, this is home to us, so this location would never go anywhere. And I'd always like a little more space. We were shopping, but the market just wasn't great at the moment. So we did renew our lease here. So we're going to make the most of this spot for as long as we can. But ultimately, I mean, it's all about progress and growth. So
we're open to a number 2. So yeah, so
we've been exploring that. But as far as this location goes, I would like a little more space. I used to own a sport performance facility prior to this that was connected to my sports physical therapy practice. I'd like to offer some of those components as well. And bolster our personal training area, I think. So we can have some more designated area for that. That would be great. Anything to help our trainers have everything they need. I think we could use more space.
Definitely. So there may be a Chiseled Life 2 that we can come and review one day in the near future or in the future.
Maybe you heard it first.
So you guys have had a successful gym now for 5 years. I'm sure you've learned a lot of lessons in that process. Is there any piece of advice or pieces of advice that you would give to someone who's thinking about owning a gym or someone who would like to own a gym someday?
You can go first.
Well, you always have conversations with people, and I think anyone that works out and trains hard and it's a staple part of their life, they dream about having their own gym. And I would say you don't get into this business for the money. I think any gym owner you've talked to or interviewed has probably told you that. You get into this for the passion and the commitment. I mean, anytime you have a big space, there's a big cost to it. And you're talking gym equipment, it's a big cost. I mean, we literally took everything we ever had and rolled the dice and went for it on this. And thanks to God, it paid off and we're doing well. But I mean, that's scary, but you kind of need to, it's a big investment. You don't get into it for the money. You got to get into it for the people in your community and trying to lift others up. And I mean, even sometimes that can be challenging because you're really putting yourself out there to do this for other people. And you can't always make everyone happy with every little change that you do at the gym. So sometimes that can be tough to, navigate through, but
Totally.
It's a great thing if you can. I mean, I respect anybody that goes for it. That's why when we made this move, Cara and I really shopped around for a while to find a place that really wasn't in a close vicinity to any of the other local gyms that we trained at prior. There's no need to step on anybody else's feet. There's plenty of people out there to help in the fitness journey. So we definitely didn't want to impede on that. So we had to shop a while to find somewhere that wouldn't do that.
Yeah, it's very respectful, and it's awesome that you guys had that thought process and mindset to try to be respectful of other gym owners. And I've been amazed since I've become kind of a part of this community, how much respect there is and how much of a community the gym owners have amongst themselves.
Yeah, I mean, we're all kind of, I wouldn't say cut from the same cloth, but we all have something that is very similar to all of us, which is obviously the passion of health and fitness. And I have many, many kids that come in here and that want to either interview or want like a mentorship process, or for school, they have an assignment and it's like, oh, what do you want to do? And I want to own a gym. And I absolutely love that. I think it's amazing. But I think that, it takes a lot more than just wanting to do that. I mean, I had absolutely no experience in business before running this gym, and you just kind of learn as you go, but there's a passion behind it. So when, there's just an overall love for your community, for helping people. And, even like he said, like you can't please everyone. So when you go into any business venture, you have to know like what your morals, values are, things that you, your non-negotiables, and then everything else is negotiable. And as a business owner and not a franchise, it's really nice that we get to make, small decisions every day to, help our members and choose, hey, do we want to add another piece of equipment or whatnot? And it's like those things, it comes after a while, but when you do start, you have to be firm on like, this is my vision, this is why, and how do I display who we are through all of that? So a lot of people just want a cool gym and a cool thing that they can sit behind, but it's a lot more to that. And you just have to take pride in it. And just literally when you hear all the no's, you just got to keep going. Because we heard a lot of no's.
Yeah.
A lot.
And I've noticed like when I go to gyms, because obviously I've been to a lot of gyms at this point, that if I go and I ask the people who are there if they know the owner, I'm just like, hey, what do you guys think of George or John or whoever? And if they know who the owner is, it's generally a really good gym. And when I was there, people knew who you guys were, and that's a credit to you guys because you're present in the gym and you're active and people know who you are. And that's part of the reason I feel like you have a good gym, because active owners make for good gyms.
Yeah. I mean, even just the things that even just the things that like people support, like a gentleman came up to the front desk literally like 25 minutes ago and said, I joined this gym because you're a female, business owner. And I think we don't really value the community and the fact that like, even for us, like we want to support our law enforcement. We want to support people in the community. We want to support small businesses. Those are huge things that I hold dear to my heart, that I want to use like our blessing to bless others. So I think that when you are good to the people that, are good to you and in your community, like it pays in return. And it's all about community and how you can help another person. So when you have that and not like a soul, like I need to make it to the top or I need to be the best gym, like there are many great gyms around us that I will even recommend. So I think
the DMV area is like solid.
Yeah. I mean, when we started, there was nothing here. And then now it's just booming with everybody wants a gym. But it's okay because there's more than enough people to go around. So, and we all have different strengths. And we have people that come here that go to multiple different gyms. And I love that because we used to be like that.
Yeah. It's obviously a passion of mine. So
yeah.
And every gym's a different flavor and every gym has a different feel. And it's not just the equipment, the atmosphere is different. And that's why I love locally owned gyms. Everyone's so different and so cool.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you guys coming on. And thank you for like inviting me into your gym, and thank you for coming on to the podcast. And I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, come on out again. We'd love to see you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more great content.